All right, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. We've got just a few more seconds before we're going to dive in. As always, thanks for joining us. We have a really exciting call here for you all today. You can see we do have a special guest once again. So I'm going to give it just a moment till we hit that 1 o'clock here in Pacific time. And we're here. All right. So welcome everyone. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Angel. I am joined today, of course, by the one and only Pavan Agarwal, CEO of Sunwest and Celligence. We also have our special guest here today, Frank Jimenez. He is the founder and CEO of Arbor Wealth Strategies and Insurance Solutions. So his firm focuses on wealth management, financial planning, and particularly he's passionate about building first generation wealth for minorities, educating them on creating generational wealth and making sure that estates flow through to the next generation in the safest and most efficient way possible. So we are really excited to pick your brain. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks everybody for coming, and I'm so excited to be talking to Frank today with you all. He's master at the art. I think, in my opinion, selling assets insurance is probably the most difficult sale. Wealth management is the most difficult sale there is, period. And Frank's very, very good at it. So. All the realtors and loan officers that are listening, and if you think you have a hard job, okay, Frank's got a harder job. All right. So if you really want to hone your sales skill, pay attention, really watch this webinar. I think of all the webinars we did, I think this is going to be the best one to date in terms of just supercharging and adding value to your business. There's Frank. He's back. Disappeared on us for a minute.
The dramatic entrance.
The dramatic entrance.
Yeah. Our message. So somebody said, I thought that background was fake until I saw a car drive by. No, it is real. My background there is real. We're looking out back in my front yard there. It's in Puerto Rico. I'm in Puerto Rico, and Angel, where are you today?
I am in Los Angeles, California. If I had a window behind me, you would think I was in the Pacific Northwest, because that's the kind of weather we're living with.
Frank, where are you at?
I'm in Downey, California, so Los Angeles as well.
Okay. All right. And then next week, we're going to be in Orlando for the Freedom Conference. We got several hundred realtors. I think Frank and I are both going to be speaking at the Freedom Day conference in Orlando. And then after that, I think we're both in Austin as well, right? The week after next.
We are. I'm looking forward to both of those.
Yes. So week after next, next week we're in the Freedom Day conference. If you haven't registered for that and you're in the Florida area, please register for the Freedom Day conference. And if you are in the Austin area, please register for the Mindset Summit. It's mindsetsummit.com. Frank and I both speakers for that one.
Yeah, I put both URLs in the chat if you're watching live. So freedomachieversday.com, that's the Orlando event next week. And then mindsetsummit.com, that is in.
Yes. So with no further ado, we're going to let Frank give a little bit about his background. And how did you go from, and you're a young man, right? I think you're what, 22, 23, top of the world. All right. So how did you go from, a high school flunky, I'm kidding, a Stanford dropout or Harvard dropout to top of your field?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, for sure, I think a lot of times I'd like to think I have like the relatability factor, because even though I'm not someone that was made in college. And what I mean by that is I barely got out of high school. It was a struggle. Having ADHD was definitely not helpful. Struggling to stay awake in class and not really wanting to pursue more education was difficult. But because in the Latino community, my parents were very adamant, hey, you got to go to college. Like that's what people do to like get out of poverty. So I tried it. I tried going to a community college, but it wasn't really working for me. So eventually, after working at a hardware store, I was a cashier at a hardware store here locally in Downey. I just decided, I want to do something. I want to do something better, and I don't want to go to college. So what are my options? And I started by, hey, let's just sell some life insurance. And I was 23 years old when I started that business, and most of it was just like, hey, do some life insurance, maybe some basic IRAs, but nothing too intricate. But I realized I wanted to have more purpose in life. I wanted to do something. I wanted to have a niche market, and I wanted to be really wealthy. So I got in. I started looking around and seeing, hey, where can I deviate to something that maybe is a little bit more up my alley, more up my speed, where I can have a greater impact. And that's when I started to find like wealth management and fee-based financial planning, working with people in the high net worth space. Because what I came to realize is that people that make a lot of money are just good at making the money, usually not the best at administrating it. So being able to work predominantly with Latinos, since I speak Spanish, that was kind of how it went that direction. But coming from humble beginnings, like sleeping on the floor a few years of my life, not really being able to go out and eat, having hand-me-downs, and then making $10 an hour before I made the switch to entrepreneurship was definitely it was a difficult road, but it's definitely been. I feel very blessed, very fortunate that my family and I have been afforded a different life than I thought was possible growing up. So that's kind of where it all started.
So would you say that you're sort of a single-minded direction of, confidence in yourself is what got you through it?
Initially what I think got me off the couch was I wanted to be rich. Like I think a lot of people that grow up poor was what got me off the couch. But what kept me in the game was wanting to serve others. I think if it's just about money, it's not going to be sustainable. It has to be in the service of others, right? So that was ultimately what I think kept me, I don't know if I want to use the word motivated, but kept me going. But definitely the self-belief and knowing, or at least maybe, I was called delusional a lot growing up because I was so like confident and I knew that I could do whatever I wanted if I just tried hard enough. So that's really, I think, what got me through all this and what got me on the other side, even though, I mean, in all honesty, it took about 7 years before I started making like good money where I could live like a comfortable life in Southern California. Because a few $100,000 is not living comfortable in Southern California. Like you need to be breaking 7 figures to what I think, like the way I wanted to live and the way I wanted my family to live.
Well, when you got a Lamborghini and a house in Bel Air, and
No, I'm sticking in Downey. I was born and raised here, and I haven't been able to leave. And we were going to buy a bigger house, but I like the area. So I think within the next like 12 to 18 months, we're going to strip the house completely and just build up. So there you go. I'm going to be stuck in Downey, which I'm not too upset about.
Yeah, it's interesting in your story. There's a lot of similarities to my story, because I struggled through high school also. And back then in the 80s, nobody knew what it was. It goes undiagnosed. And it's the same sort of thing. Is like everyone tells you, well, maybe you should limit your expectations. And maybe you should just focus on what you can do well and just do that, and don't set expectations too high. So it's like the whole world around you tells you that you can only do this and you should only do this and don't try too hard. And the reality is at the end of the day, what you and I proved is just try. Just do it. Just believe in yourself and just do it. And, I never, maybe I should have taken ADHD medicine when I figured out what it is. At least it'll help me lose weight, I guess,
No, I think that stuff messes you up. That stuff. I think medicine is the problem, that as humans, we always look for like a quick fix as opposed to like working through it.
Yeah. Ultimately, I learned to control it and manage through it. And I also learned that when I am, less focused, to just kind of let go. Don't try to fight it. There's I find in myself, in my experiences, it goes ups and downs of focus levels, and just kind of got to ride the wave. So and when I'm when I am focused, that's when I get most of the work done. Definitely, I think the lesson here, between at least just you and I, between the two of us, is having that, don't give up attitude, and don't let others tell you what you can and cannot do. It's a very similar message to what, Eloy, I don't know if you saw that conversation we had with Eloy a couple of weeks ago, where, I mean, he had the hell of a fight to survive. And he just kept on going, and everything was against him, but he did it. So
yeah, I think even like the ADHD, I would consider it more of like a superpower than I would like a hindrance. And the reason is like, what I've come to notice is most of our like, high net worth clients all have it. Like, it's like super common, and it either destroys you or helps you, because like not being able to focus is a difficult thing, but I think it's helpful too, because whenever I'm feeling sad or down, or whenever I'm having doubts, a new thought pops into my head and I'm like, all right, let's run with this one, right? Like, and maybe it's bipolar, or maybe I don't know exactly what it is, but all in all, it gives me the energy to keep going even when I don't want to. And because I'm like I have a Belgian Malinois, so I really love the dogs, and I think I relate a lot with my dog, where sometimes I get so focused on something that nothing can drive me away from that. And I think that was like doing well in business, right? I'm going to do it no matter what I have to do.
yes, you may go for this conversation become all about ADHD, but hyper focus, and you basically OCD on a direction. And that's kind of what I meant by the ebbs and flows, is when you're not focused, you don't try to fight it, and just search for that focal point.
Yeah, we talk so much about mindset when it comes to sales and just being successful and growing your business, and whether it's ADHD or it's something else, to both of your guys' point, you can look at it as something that's stunting you, as a kind of scapegoat to why you're not achieving what you want to achieve, or you can look at it as your superpower and how it helps you, and then learn from other successful people, strategies that they use to overcome the obstacles it brings. So I love that insight.
Yeah, I think it's all about seeing the glass as half full, and you don't have to think about the tools you do have.
It's neat because I think life, and I talk to this a lot about like the other advisors and the rest of the staff here, it's like life is about perspective. And I think that whether it's like exercise, right? There's two perspectives on exercise and fitness and eating healthy. One perspective is, hey, it sucks, it's hard, it hurts, it doesn't taste as good. And the other one is, hey, I feel great, I look better, I'm happier, I'm emotionally stable. Like, it's whatever you end up like focusing business, and we're all in sales and in the real estate industry and wealth management or whatever we're selling. It's either you focus on the fact that it's hard and it sucks and that it takes time, or you focus on the unlimited earning capacity, the ability to set your own schedule, and the ability to impact people in a positive way. And in the world, we focus on our problems, not on our blessings.
Yes, good advice. Good advice. And speaking of blessings, all of you watching, don't forget to bless us by liking and subscribing. We do need more. And with that said, what have been some of your secrets in your sales process? And it's hard to get clients, to find clients and get them interested. Abstract product, annuities, and it's a lot easier because saying, hey, you need this mortgage to get that house. That's really easy compared to what you're doing, which is, completely like up in, the stratosphere, like, yeah, you need this for the long term. How do you connect and how do you build that trust?
So it's neat, right? Because I think in all industries, there's a way to set yourself apart from the competition. And I think it's harder for real estate agents to set themselves apart from other competition because everybody's technically selling the same thing, right? But there are ways to differentiate yourself. And in my industry, there's huge ways because there's very few people focusing on the niche that we focus on, which is bringing together people's complete advisory teams. Usually in the Latino community, they're using bookkeepers. Their businesses are revenues of 50 million plus, potentially still using bookkeepers, are the CPA they use when they first open the business. They're paying mortgages out of their business accounts. They're doing pretty much everything that they shouldn't be doing because they just focus on building like capital, not really how to administrate that. So what I really did was make sure that I could separate myself from the competition, which was to bring an entire advisory team to all of our clients that are new to money, right? If you've been, fortunate enough to be born into wealth, like my kids are living a much different life than I am, and they're already going to have the full advisory team set for them whenever I do pass away, whenever my wife and I do pass. So systems are set. They already have like high level advisors helping them. Most people don't, especially if they're the first one in their family to get out. And a lot of times it's just the first person to get out of poverty. Like it's not even just like, hey, I got a little bit better. So we differentiated ourselves in terms of that. And the other thing too is I genuinely care more about my people, my clients, my staff, my team, my family. I care more about the people than I do about myself and about getting rich. It's not just about making money. It's about deserving it. And I think everything that you earn in life, you do deserve. So for me, the biggest goal is I treat everybody's money like if it was my own mother's. And I treat the clients like royalty. To me, my clients, and it's what's funny is all of my closest friends now are people I didn't even know until I started the business, because it's interesting that you kind of grow your own direction, right? Like a lot of people you start with, you don't really end with, but I'm kind of deviating. But all in all, to just get back to it, it's the service of others. And I'm going to say that a lot because that's genuinely the way I want to live my life. Is I know that if I'm helping somebody and I'm more concerned with how they are going to be because of us meeting, I'm concerned about these people, this family, this business is going to be in a much better place than when I found it. And as long as I lead with that, I know that, my instincts and my knowledge is always going to take me to do what's best for them, not what's best for me. And I think ultimately in sales careers, that's the stigma. Most salespeople care more about the commission. I care more about the relationship, because to me, the best client isn't necessarily the one with the most money, right? And there's a lot that goes into just that statement, but definitely leading with other people's intentions before mine has been the key to earning that trust.
Okay. So as you work with clients and, and I know you've been learning a lot about AI, are you feeling nervous about how AI could be changing your experience and your value addition?
No, I'm actually excited about it because it's making my life a lot easier. Pretty much what we've been doing the last 6 months. I haven't really been taking on new clients. Our focus is growing the team and growing the systems. So not that I'm going to die, right? I don't like to talk about death a lot, but unfortunately I do because it's like part of my line of work. But I want to make sure that this business is functional, whether I'm alive or not. But that also is twofold, right? Because that means it also can operate and I don't have to be there, or I can focus more on working on my business, not in my business. I don't, we acquired in the first 10 years of business, we acquired close to 500 households to do like their planning, whether it's basic planning or high level planning. I can't handle 500 households myself. Like there's just no way. So now we have a 10-person team to help me. So it's just that it's AI allows us to build systems. So like my vision for in 6 months, maybe it'll take me longer, but you know, my ability to be delusional has also been like another superpower. I think I'm better than I actually am. Um, is that when I show up to the office every day, my automated systems tell me everything I need to do that day. Like that I don't have to think anymore so that I can focus most of my time on being present with whoever I am with, less time stressing about, hey, did I remember to do this? Did I do that? Like who did I need to call? Like what did I need to do? So I think integrating these AI systems, although they're very difficult and it's been very time consuming and very stressful in the moment, I know once it's all done, it's going to make my life and my staff and my team and my family, it's going to make everybody's life easier. So I think if you are not developing AI systems, you're going to be left behind, big time. And also, if you're not developing your own skills and you're not irreplaceable, if you continue just being mediocre at whatever you do, mediocrity, I think, can be replaced by AI super, super easily. But I genuinely think that like sales and like real estate and financial planning, it's a very emotional business. Like, I don't think there's going to be a machine that can do what we do necessarily, because we need to be able to feel the client's energy. Because for me, a lot of times I want clients to do a certain thing and I know what's in their best interest, but because I know the client and their emotional well-being is more important, a lot of times we'll choose different investments than I would if I was in their position, because I just know them. I know they're going to lose sleep over high risk investments. And I know that they still need to meet with me in person, even though we can do everything like over Zoom. So that's where I'm excited about AI, but I'm also not afraid of it.
Yeah. I think, you know, what you said in the beginning was spot on, is the business model that you designed. Right. That's something AI cannot do. Right. AI is not going to be able to figure out that, you know, you can ask ChatGPT all you want, and it's not going to tell you, okay, hey, you know, you have a niche here to go after people who recently acquired wealth but don't know how to manage it, and here's how you structure the service level. It's just, this is new, this is innovation, this is what makes us human. Right. What AI is good at doing is doing things that are routine, redundant. And I know those of you who played around with things like ChatGPT or Morgan, you'll feel like it's magic, like you'll feel like it is doing something that is human-like, but it really isn't. It's nothing more than making lots of decisions, millions of decisions, really, really fast, and a lot of just a lot of switches. So and all it's doing is saying everything that you do in your personal day that's mechanical, right? And what people don't realize is you know, at least half the day that of the time that you spend working is mechanical and not creative. So everything that you do is mechanical, gets easily taken over by the AI. It's just another machine. Right? As it's like driving your car to work versus walking to work. Yeah, you'll still get to work. One's going to take you 10 times longer than the other. Right? That's why you need the machine. So it's the same thing with AI. So you know, I get this question a lot: is it going to replace humans, and is it going to take over all the jobs and so forth? And I think your answer, what you said earlier, Frank, was right on the mark. Is that AI will help you, be on top of your business, not in your business, because all that stuff that in the weeds work of your business, right? It's a machine that can take care of in the weeds, so that you can focus on strategy, planning, growth, right? And I think, you know, for all the people that are listening here, is mostly business people that are listening, and even those who are not business people, who are in, should be thinking about, you know, not about whether AI is going to replace you, but whether how you can scale your operations so that you can provide better service, better better delivery using AI to your customers. So,
You know what's neat too is I think that most of what AI are the things salespeople hate to do anyway. The issue is, you know, how, like, a lot of times we all want to be in good shape, but we don't want to put in the work to get there. I think it's the same concept with implementing AI, because you still have to tell it what you want it to do. And it takes time, and we want it to already be done. And I think ego gets in the way of, like, especially when people start making 2, 3, 4, 500,000, they already feel like, well, look how successful I am, look how great I am. And then I think that's where people get stuck. We notice a lot of our clients get stuck there because ego drives them, because they're making more than most people, but they can't move into the next level because they can't change the bad habits that they have. And myself, like, this is what's kept me from continuing to grow and grow and grow and grow, is because you got comfortable, like, hey, this is how I do things. That's the worst thing I think we can say to ourselves is, well, this is just how I do things. I think once you say that, then you're dying. You're dying slowly.
yeah. So with that said, for anyone who wants a detailed training, you know, in a small group on AI, how to use Morgan, for all the realtors and loan officers that are watching, you want the detailed training of how you can go in there and have it prospect your leads for you, have it qualify borrowers for you, and so forth. We have a workshop daily at, I think, when you have the details, Angel.
Yes, so daily we have a workshop 11 o'clock Pacific time, 11 a.m. Pacific. Like Pavan said, there we keep them really small groups so that you have that you know, one-on-one attention with a certified Morgan trainer, so they'll run through some exercises with you, so you're hands-on, you kind of get used to using the system, you can get all your questions answered. So to register for that, all you do is go to usemorgan.com and say workshop, and Morgan will help you get registered. Because we keep them small group and there's been a lot of demand for them, we did add an additional afternoon session on Fridays at 1 o'clock Pacific. And we have them in Spanish as well now. So you can just go to usemorgan.com, tell her workshop. Or Frank, how would you say workshop in Espanol?
God, that's like one of those terms that we don't use too much. Or workshop. My Spanish is mostly finance based, but I can't. I don't know. You're gonna have to put that in chat. Somebody's gonna have better Spanish.
Yeah.
All right. So just tell Morgan workshop for now and tune in next week and I'll have the answer.
Yeah, I gotta work on my Spanish. My translation is weak.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point, because Morgan does speak hundreds of languages. And Angel, could you show real quick how to switch languages in Morgan?
Yeah, absolutely.
And while she's bringing that screen up, I'll tell you a story about an anecdote, real story about a realtor who didn't speak Spanish but had a Spanish client. So he saved that deal by using Morgan. So he went to Morgan and then he invited the customer to the Morgan conversation using the invite friend feature. And the customer spoke to Morgan in Spanish and he saw it in English, and he spoke to Morgan in English and the customer saw it in Spanish. It was a real-time two-way translation, along with everything else that Morgan did, which is, on the spot, qualifying the borrowers, calculating ratios, pricing, interest rates, everything was happening in real time while the realtor was speaking in Spanish, and he saved that deal that he would have normally lost because he wasn't bilingual.
Wow, I'm gonna need to get on Morgan myself.
And because Morgan is built specifically for the mortgage and real estate industry, you know that the message that you're trying to convey is going to be translated in the right way, which is awesome. So there's actually 3 different ways to change the language in Morgan. Right here on the landing page, when you go to usemorgan.com, before you hit Let's Chat, you'll see the default is this little American flag for English, but you can click on these other flags and switch it to Spanish or Korean. So that'll just start the chat from the get-go in one of those 3 languages. Once I hit Let's Chat, if you're already in the system, my system runs a little slow while I'm live streaming, so bear with me. You can switch, here we go, in the text field. No, I have to tell her my name. In the text field, you'll see the flag as well. So you can just click on that to switch between English, Spanish, or Korean. And the third, in my opinion, easiest way to change the language is just to start talking to Morgan in the language you want her to speak. So Morgan does speak more than those 3 languages. Those are just the most popularly used in Morgan at this time. But if you just start talking to her in any language you want, she will start responding. And to Pavan's point, we've seen a lot of people be able to really expand their potential client base by using the add a friend feature. That way they can type in the language they're most comfortable with, the client can type in the language they are most comfortable with, and everyone sees it in the language that they have set up. So to use the add a friend feature, I'll show this demonstration real quick here. It's pretty simple. Up at the top in the left-hand corner, you see this little icon. It's a person with a plus sign. You click on that and then just drag over, slide to invite the friend. And then more information about the friend you'd like to invite into the chat. So she's going to ask for their name. She's going to ask for their email address and for their phone number. And that is because she will send them a link via text message and email. So that way they can join from any device that they want to join on. It'll say dialing until they join. So this is what it looks like. They'll get an email and a text message. All they do is click on that link and they're brought right into the conversation there within Morgan. So you can see it says, my friend was added. So Morgan, we do have an app, but the URL just from your browser, usemorgan.com, has just as robust functionality. So it makes it great when you are using features like this, that your client just clicks on the link and boom, they're in the chat. They're not clicking the link and going to their app store and downloading the app and registering and all of that stuff, because we're going to lose them. So this just makes it super simple for them to pop into the chat. And then you can communicate in the language that they're most comfortable with.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, is that Morgan was designed to be highly accessible. We don't want any barriers between you and your customer. So it's just a web address and you can go in and basically do everything. If you do install the app, when you access Morgan from your mobile device and the app isn't installed, it'll give you little reminders that you can install the app. And you just click it and it'll take you to the Play Store. This way your customer, when they connect in and start talking to Morgan, start talking to you, your customer does not have any barriers in between. It's very simple and easy to integrate and flow through. And I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you go live sometimes.
It's the ADD. There you go.
Yes, it's the ADD. It is the ADD. One of the questions that we get frequently is, what can Morgan do? And I don't want to bore Frank because he's not in the mortgage and real estate business, but we're going to take a sidebar here and let's show our audience some of the things that you can do in Morgan, which previously you thought it was only a human could do. Okay,
Yep,
so
absolutely. So one of the really cool things that Morgan can do for our realtor audience specifically, and Frank, earlier you mentioned AI is replacing the task that most of us just don't want to do. And one of those things is cold calling, right? Or calling on leads. So I can tell by your expression that you agree on that one.
I sure do. I've done it.
So Morgan can actually, for our realtors that are watching, Morgan can do your lead prospecting absolutely for free. So there are companies that charge you actually for our realtors that are watching, Morgan can, they get a hold of them, it turns into anything. Every single thing that you guys do completely free. There is no charge to use anything Morgan related. So I'll do a quick demonstration of how you would use the free lead prospecting. And I'll also point out here, like you're seeing on the screen, on the right-hand side, it says Morgan current errands. So you can have multiple conversations. That's what errands are, because she's your personal assistant. You're asking her to run an errand for you. So you can have as many errands open at once as you would like. So in the last demonstration, you saw me add a friend. I can continue having that conversation, hit this new errand button, and ask Morgan to do something else for me. So in this case, I'm naming this errand leads, follow up on. And right there within the system, you see this little paperclip icon. So you can use that to send documents or images to Morgan. So I just browse for my file, send it over to her. She's gonna ask what I want done. So Morgan can do the email campaigns, phone calls, or both. So I have told her both things she's doing is asking me if I want to customize my email templates and my phone scripts. So you can actually send over exactly what you want said on the phone calls, exactly the want sent with your logos, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to again use that paperclip icon to attach my email template and the phone script that I want used. And then Morgan's going to send a confirmation message to me here saying, I've got it. I'm going to contact your leads on your behalf and then keep you updated through weekly reports. So every week you're going to receive a report with all of your leads, what was done, how many contacts were made, if conversations were had, what is the, you should follow up with them in November. That's all going to be on your report. I should also point out that it is not AI making phone calls. So Morgan has her human assistants. We call them Morganistas. So they are the ones making phone calls. They're all bilingual English and Spanish. And so they will be the ones reaching out to your, and if they do get someone live on the line who is ready to speak with you, then they will attempt to do a warm transfer over to you. If you're not available, they'll shoot you over an email with the details so you can get right back to that person. So going to the comment about, using AI to automate those tasks that are repetitive, that you don't necessarily like doing, to free up your time to really focus on what you want to be focusing on. This is a perfect example of how you can use AI to do that. Because rather than spending, blocking off a couple hours in your day to just be cold calling on your leads, you now are hand delivered. You should call that want to talk to you. And you get that analysis of, for the people who you don't need to talk to right now, when is the best time to follow up?
And I'd like to add that all the Morganistas are here in Puerto Rico. And so when you live in this paradise that's behind me, you're going to have a really good disposition and really positive attitude. And that really comes across. They're like super effective. We have many realtors, brokers, loan officers are using the service. And I get calls like within a day of people uploading their leads and saying, this is amazing. I already got a couple of appointments. This is incredible. So please, try it out. It's really that easy. And if you're not sure how to use Morgan, you just ask her, how do I do this? How do I do that? She'll tell you. One thing we say is be a little patient with her. Her answers are warranted. That means if she does an analysis, she says this loan will be approved with whatever XYZ income. We will stand behind it. SunWest, the mortgage company, will stand behind it, and so that if you submit the loan to SunWest, we will fund it as per Morgan's responses. Okay, and even if Morgan is wrong, which it's never wrong, that's why we can issue the warranty, because in my mind, I'm not taking any risk. So even if Morgan is wrong, we will fund that loan, and I will balance sheet the loan if I have to. So that's how solid it is. So if for all the realtors and loan officers watching, when is the last time you asked your lender, your underwriter, a question and was given an absolute warranty on that question, saying, yeah, I am 100% right, and I will not 100% in no way ever back down on what I just said. No such thing. Doesn't exist. That's a foreign concept in this industry. That's why this industry is so difficult, right? Because every loan officer has experienced all of the last minute changes, last minute oopsies, and then whenever there's an oopsie, then you experience all the double talk and misdirection, people trying to cover up the tracks. None of that happens because the AI makes a decision, AI does analysis, it's in writing, it's in front of you, it's immutable, and also irrefutable, and it's final. So it just makes the whole real estate process so simple, because all the mystery and suspense is taken out. So it goes, I think if you ask most buyers and homeowners, how was your real estate journey? A lot of them will say it was kind of like a horror or suspense movie. All right. But an AI journey would be more like a romantic comedy. It'd be like Tom Hanks and was her name?
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, yeah. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Still sleepless in Seattle, got sleepless with AI.
No, you get a good night's sleep because the AI is taking care of everything for you.
Exactly.
And to Pavan's point, the demonstration on the screen is doing just that. It's asking underwriting questions to the AI, to Morgan, and you can get as specific, as granular as you want. In fact, it's very helpful the more details that you give the AI, and you're going to get back that one warranted answer. So that's what you see. That's what you're watching on the screen. Is I just open up a new errand. Remember those conversations? Open a new errand, ask my next question. Open a new errand, ask my next question. And I just rapid fired this thing. And you can see by the time I got done, Morgan had provided those answers that I was looking for. So I guess the point of showing and explaining that is to really set the expectation and the value that you're getting from Morgan when you ask Morgan to do something for you, or you ask Morgan a question, is you are getting that one response 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that is fully warranted to be correct. So I know we've mentioned like ChatGPT at the top of the call. There's, seems like every day a new AI system's coming out. And it's important to understand the difference in the different types of technology and what they're for. I think we might have mentioned last week, there was someone at one of the conferences we were at that asked about a loan limit, and he asked ChatGPT and he asked Morgan, and he said, see, ChatGPT gave me the answer immediately, but it was the loan limits for 2019. So Morgan, if it needs to take, another minute or two to go through that extra verification, that's what you want, because you're essentially putting your business on the line with the answers that you're going back to your referral partners with, or your clients with. So you want to make sure that it is that one correct answer. Compared to making a phone call, waiting for a call back, waiting for an email back, doing the research yourself, hoping you found the right answer. Morgan is light speed, but it's also you're getting the correct answer. So if you have more for Morgan to do, just open a new errand, ask her your next question, make your next request. If you don't, close it out, and Morgan will actually send you a text and an email when the answer is available.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there. As these days, it seems like there's a lot of different AI things coming out at the same time. And so the question is, why is that? Well, it's actually, when ChatGPT started in 2015, they weren't the only ones. A lot of people had started at the same time, including us. We'd actually started, decades ago, started building the engine for mortgages and finance. It's that the computing power, but you didn't have these high-speed GPUs available until recently. So that's why it seems like there's suddenly a flood of these things, just because everyone had the basics in place, but didn't have the computing power. The difference in what we did and what the rest of Silicon Valley is doing is they focused on the, GPT stands for, generative pre-trained transformer. So they focus on very broad, general kind of, almost a search engine kind of approach to it. And they cannot get to a point where their answers are right. They'll give you an answer, but they won't necessarily give you a right answer because a bunch of data at it. So it's about as right as the internet is about something. Right.
If it just made something up or not.
Yes, exactly. So our algorithms are very different. We do have some generative components to it, but our algorithms are very, very different than the others because it's financial services. And so we have to make sure it's 100% right, and it has to solve to a final answer, right? And because it's people's life savings on the line, it's your commission on the line and your customer's life savings on the line. So there cannot be a mistake. So it has to be a very different approach, and it's much harder lift. So we solved a much more difficult problem than ChatGPT has done. It does take a few minutes as opposed to instantaneous. Now the good news is that our engineering team understands the algorithms really well, understands the direction. And every month that time period, the delays get shorter and shorter. And I think like Angel, you've been messing with this with our AI for the last couple of years, and what have you seen over the last just 12 months?
Last 12 months, it has just gotten faster and faster with every release, and it's amazing. I mean, because of the warranted answers. But it took time, which I was fine with, to know that I got a correct answer. But with every release, especially in this past year, I think Pavan, I told you just yesterday, this latest release, I can't believe how fast it is. So I love it, and I'm see where it's going in the next few months or few years. I can't imagine what all she's going to do for us.
Yeah. So what happens is when you put in a document today, like tax returns, W-2s, bank statements, right? Something like 99.5% of those documents she will have reviewed, analyzed, calculated in under an hour. Okay. And it's like, 70-80% in under half an hour. So where it's headed is we're heading to a future this year. I mean, it's not like a distant future, like in the near future, where everything will be done in a couple of minutes. And it's in the lab. I see the I get to look in the lab. It comes privileges. I have the privilege of looking in the lab and seeing under the hood, and I'm seeing the test runs go through. I'm seeing the test runs of bank statements going through and test runs of tax returns going through, and I'm seeing it come out, in 60 seconds or less, and it's really spectacular to watch this stuff go through and see how it does it. So once it's fully tested and stable in every possible, I mean, we're running hundreds of thousands of documents at it and scenarios and making sure it doesn't have any bugs. Once that gets released, and it's really like true immediate instantaneous underwriting available to you. So putting it back into the insurance realm, in your context, Frank, could you imagine taking an insurance application from one of your life insurance customers, getting their information, dropping into an AI, and instantaneously telling you, the insurance underwriter's decision?
I mean, it would help a lot, because a lot of times when we're writing these enormous policies, we'd have to pre-underwrite them just to see if it's even like a viable option before we even like talk about introducing. So then they have to order all the medical records, but all of that is still being done by human, right? Where if it was automated because they scrubbed the medical database, so could it be implemented in the insurance industry? Absolutely. Are they? Not that I know of. So it's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that you guys have that. And when I found out about that, I thought, wow. I mean, it's scary for loan officers because they might be out of a job soon, right? Unless they differentiate themselves. But that's incredible, because I've had, even me, like we refer so much business, I've had like really tough times with buying real estate, with like the loan process of them like asking for new things. It's like the money's in the bank, like our financials look great, like we're easily able to purchase this and multiple homes, yet they're going to bother me for weeks to get like the most random thing because I cut a check for 10 grand like on this day. So I think that's incredible.
Yeah, and the reason that happens is in the mortgage industry, just like the insurance industry, is all done by hand, and you're only as good as the hands that are doing it. And it's just, again, if you drive to work versus walk to work, right? You could be Usain Bolt, but you're not going to run faster than that car. Sorry, unless there's LA traffic, then I think you could probably walk to work faster.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So back to your point about loan officers. Again, it's about, are you going to be in your business or on top of your business? The loan officers that are by hand calculating every income, every asset, and potentially missing that $10,000 deposit. That's what happened, right? Why they asked you that question, on your own loan about the $10,000 deposit weeks into the process, is because someone missed it up front. It was there, it was in the document, someone missed it, right? And the annoying part isn't that they asked you. The annoying part is they asked you, didn't ask you up front, right? And really the point is that it's just, there's so many. If you look at a bank statement, how many numbers are there on a bank statement? Right? And it's like there's, in one document, there's hundreds of numbers, right? And so it's so easy for a human to make a mistake. For a computer, it's just an algorithm, it just goes number by number and by number, it just loops through and checks everything, right? There's nothing magical about it. It's just what computers are really good at, is doing, redundant work over and over again.
And we get that question a lot about, is AI going to take our jobs? And, especially from loan officers who are used to doing so much of this manually. And the point is, and someone said in the chat, if you don't hop on board, you'll be left behind. It's not here to take your job. It's here to change your job in a way that is ultimately going to allow you to be more successful. Because if all of this stuff that you're used to doing manually, that's repetitive, that's time consuming, that you could pass off to an assistant, a very experienced assistant, that's what you're doing with Morgan. So then you can really be spending your time meeting clients, building relationships with referral sources, all of the things that you don't have as much time as you'd like to have dedicated to your business.
A couple of good questions just came up on the chat I'm going to address. Somebody asked, is there an insurance version of Morgan coming out? And the answer is not yet. There will be, but here's what is really exciting to, I think, the audience is today you can do free lead prospecting for the real estate industry. And it's going really well, like I said, and realtors are those who've jumped on board and are using it and are getting appointments immediately. We are about to make that thing generic to work for any industry. So this can be your personal loan assistant, your personal AI assistant, regardless of what industry you're in. So Frank, you'll very soon, you'll be able to load your insurance contacts into Morgan, and Morgan will prospect them, as well as it's prospecting mortgage and real estate accounts.
That's neat. Wow. And to have people, so people are calling in call centers, they're calling the clients to follow up with them.
Yes, people are calling, the AI is directing them. There's e-blasts that are going out. It's like really an AI CRM.
And it's free? You said this is free.
It's totally free.
That just sounds obnoxious. I don't know why everybody, if realtors aren't on that doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't. And I think, what talking to realtors is they just don't believe it. Right.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe right now. So I think that's
right.
quite incredible.
Well, and the reason it's free because our nominal cost is like nothing. Because even with the people calling the customers, right? The number, the hundreds of calls they're able to make every day is like no one can achieve this efficiency that we have, because the way the AI directs it and prioritizes it and gets them to focus on the right lead to call when, because it isn't so much about how many calls you make. And every good salesman knows this, that it's about knowing when to call which customer at what time and what to say. That's how you make it effective, right? Just because you call and leave a message doesn't mean you're going to get a conversion. But when to call, how to call, what to say, right? And those decisions are being made by the AI. And that's what crushes it. That's the really hard part. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're working on upgrading the training and the algorithm so that it can work for literally any industry. So that's in the works. And it's not just about the calls, it's about the text messages, it's about the emails and this whole automatic system. And it's not like no human has to go set it up. It's just literally to give the prompts correctly. Okay, we're gonna, AI, we're gonna call, Frank's leads, and this is the frequency he wants, and this is his tone, and this is his message, and it'll set up the scripts and everything automatically, and poof, it does it. So it's really, really cool. So that's one of the questions. And someone else asked, is Morgan changing to AngelAi? Yes, it is changing to AngelAi. The name is changing. And the reason why it's changing is because Morgan is a derivative of the word mortgage, right? And as as all of these new features are coming into Morgan, it's no longer mortgage centric. In fact, even for realtors, it's too limiting just calling it Morgan, calling it a brand that's mortgage centric when it's doing real estate work for them. It's lead prospecting, it's setting up listings, it's making listing appointments, it's setting up listings websites. So it's already when Morgan has already grown past beyond mortgages, it's done that months ago. And now as it works for you for the insurance industry or some other industry or somebody else's personal assistant, it doesn't fit anymore. So that's why we have to come up with a new name. And so watch for the official announcement. I think it'll be coming out early next week. The new name will be AngelAi. Raul Rodriguez asked, what documents do I need to submit to get a loan approval? Would it tell me that it needed verification of employment? So Raul, you would submit the documents to Morgan as you would submit to your loan processor or LOA. So you take a loan app the best you can. And remember, Morgan is an AI, it's not a mind reader. It's not magic. So the more information you give it, the better it will do. And if it needs the verification, Morgan's will actually go out and it's connected with all the different verification databases. It looks up phone numbers, it does reverse lookups, it does all that stuff, and it pulls it all in automatically. And whatever it cannot do, whatever it cannot find through online sources and through the different data interfaces, whatever it cannot do, and once again, the Morganistas come into play, and the Morganistas will call your customers and get the missing information. So you get the information, drop it into Morgan, whatever you have, more complete, better. And then within an hour, the whole loan is been processed. What you traditionally call processing, the loan processing has completed within an hour, and then it goes through an underwriting cycle. Okay, and the underwriting cycle, a full loan underwriting cycle is usually done in a couple hours, where and a best X is done for the best product for the customer is proposed. So most full loan underwriting is done within a couple hours, but the worst case, we guarantee it to always be ready by 8 a.m. the following morning. So if it is, 7 p.m. wherever you are, so if you're 7 p.m. on the East Coast right now, then by 8 a.m. tomorrow, you will guaranteed to get your loan approval. Hopefully it's an approval. Morgan is not a magician, although we do call her a magician. He cannot make a borrow with a 70% DTI approved. No, it's not going to happen. You're not going to find a magical income for the borrower. That's not going to happen. Or, but Morgan will underwrite that loan file directly, exactly to agency guidelines, exactly to FHA guidelines. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so there are no overlays. She only knows the guidelines as is, as it's printed.
And I want to address a couple of comments / questions in the chat about just training and learning how to use Morgan and figure out the best way to use it to all of its potential. So first thing is, like Barbara, I know it looks like you had a little issue. I did put my email address in the chat if you want to reach out. But I also want to point out that you can talk to Morgan just like you would talk to a human. So if, regardless what you're trying to ask her or trying to get her to do, if she misunderstood you, that's not what I want, or here's some more details, just talk to her like you would talk to a human. So if she sent you the wrong link, say, hey, that's not what I was looking for, but do send me an email and we'll make sure you get taken care of. And Raul, what's the best way to explore its potential as a loan officer? I would say start with a workshop. So go to usemorgan.com and tell Morgan workshop, she'll get you registered. So that way you can do the very small group hands-on training, get a better idea of some of the ways you can use it. I'm also going to put a link to the Morgan YouTube training playlist in the chat as well.
Yeah.
So that is short little videos, like 2 minutes or less, that show you how to do various things within Morgan as well.
Yeah, actually, if you go to hellomorgan.com, all of those training videos are on the website as well.
Oh, well, there you go. I learned something new today too.
But and also it's on the Sun. We're constantly adding more and more training content on the YouTube channel and more fun, exciting videos like this one. So
Yes.
please don't forget to like it, and don't forget to follow me and SunWest on social media, Facebook, Instagram. You get to see on my wonderful family pictures and my recent trip to Iceland. We were on a little family vacation last week.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Pictures are really, really cool. And definitely follow Pavan, follow SunWest on your social media here on YouTube as well. That's the best way to also stay up to date with the latest releases within Morgan, different ways that you can use Morgan, and also different events that we'll be at around the country. Oftentimes these are, $200, $300, $400, $500 tickets, and oftentimes we do have some to give away. So that is the best way to figure out where we're going to be. I know we're a few minutes over here. Time just flies when we're having fun. Frank, any last thoughts you want to get out there for our audience?
No, I don't have anything in specific other than just, hey, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here. The software seems incredible. Yeah, just my pleasure. My pleasure. And I'll see you guys in the next coming weeks.
All right, cheers. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We'll
Happy
see you next week in
Wednesday.
Orlando and the week after in Austin.
And next Wednesday, right here.
Yes. Oh, and also we have another team next Wednesday simultaneously. While I'm in Florida, we have another show in Oregon, right? Is it Oregon or Seattle?
It's in Oregon, in
Yes.
Portland /
Yes.
Wilsonville.
Yeah. So the Morgan SunWest team will be in Portland as well as Orlando next week. I personally will be in Orlando.